This is the TRC report. And Chea Chapoo is going to be on with me. Oh, give me 1 second. He's going to be the one that I'm going to share tonight. Okay. His testimony. If you look at the title states, okay, Liberia in a view mirror. When you are in the view mirror, meaning it's behind you. The view mirror is your history. It's what behind you. It's what you're leaving behind. You're driving away. But we cannot drive away when we have not fully seen and passed where we are. Because the younger generation do not know the Liberia that has been. I am abridged because I'm from the 70s. So I saw some of that Liberia. And I saw the transition era. I saw the days of Doe. I saw the day of Prince Johnson, of Taylor, and where we are, the Ellen Johnson Sally, that we are, and I'm here, okay? So this last century, and I can speak to that. So I want you all listen to this man, and that's what I'm going to listen to tonight. And you can then tell me now what has changed. When Alexander Cummings spoke yesterday, or when he had an interview yesterday, he talked about the Constitution that we have since the inception of our country. If you go back to Dr. Blyden, when he wrote Liberia as She Is, everything that he outlined, we are in a hurry to get rich, we ought to appear rich, we're running and borrowing, we're still doing everything. Nepotism is even now wearing wings, okay? So, most of you know, we collected Emmanuel Service leadership with our hope. We collected over 300,000 signatures for this to be implemented. Joseph Walker promised us that there will be war and economic crimes court. Most of you have been listening to the president in charge, okay? And it looks like the war and economic crimes court only about Prince Johnson and nothing more, okay? But I want you to listen to Chea Chapoo. I'm going to take this back a little bit, all right? And I want you to listen keenly. This is our story. This is our governance and system. This is when we talk about no school, okay? No school. No, there was no school then. You have to change your name if you were native to get an education. So let's do this. Here we go.
Arteabo. By record, we are warriors. We are a very small tribe, highly conservative.
I'm sorry, guys.
But
I want to start all the way to the beginning where he talked. Where we go.
I'm trying to say that my mother saw a good in me. And I wanted to make my mama happy. Just imagine rearing 9 living children in an indigenous society without health services, lack of food, problems, crime. It was difficult for my parents. And so my mother thought that at least one of us will be able to stand out when they are gone to fend for the others. I have vowed to do that, and I've been doing that. I'm not only fending for my mother's children, I fend for my tribe. I fend for my country. And therefore, I do not relent to continue to stand as long as there's life in me to do what I can to bring peace and justice to my land. I want to take this time to tell you thank you. As I have said, introducing myself, I come from a tribal element called Keteabo, a sub-tribe of the Grebo people. K-I-T-E-A-B-O. By record, we are warriors. We are a very small tribe, highly conservative, but we have vast land mass among bigger tribes surrounding us. My family the Kalipo family. We are the Bodiers from time immemorial. Because when the die was cast, and some family members were needed to establish our tribe, where we are now, it was the Kalipo family that came forward and made the supreme sacrifice. So I come from a family of leaders. My mother is the niece of the chairman of the True Party, Paramount Chief Chea, Solo Chea. I remember sitting between his knees when he is judging and administering transparent justice up country before coming to school. And one day he told my father upon his visitation, I grew with my aunt. As I told you, my mother had 13 births. And this is how they rear us. When mama is stone pregnant and you are just walking, until you will come and carry you to her. She didn't have any children. And the one that was before you, they will bring him back. Because then he's able to go and get water and do other things. And so I spent time in my mother's home, and I was able to be in his town, Solo Blue, and I saw him dispensing justice. So I got interested in government. My mother visited me, or my father did. And Paramount Chief Chea told my father, take care of, he went for me to go to school. So the chief told my father, take care of this boy. Now you mon come na you clever yula. It is Dwaya. This your son is the son of all your sons. So take care of him. And my father brought me, sent me to school. I went to Uncle Isaac, peace be to his ashes, in Harper City. He was a watchman in one of the business shipping companies in Harper. And so I stayed with him, we were watching. He attended the St. Teresa school, the Catholic school there, and I was in the house when he's not there. I started my school, and I did not go back until I got my college degree from America. Because of what my mother blessed me with, I didn't go through trouble about finding money. And I was not ashamed of my situation. And so, I parlayed well with all my equals. In school, yeah, I was not too brilliant, but I was sensible and an average student. I was aware of the subject matter and could relate to it when I was asked. And so, I came to Monrovia. My cousin Chea, who was the son of late Paramount Chief Chea, my mother's uncle, was taken by Tuckman to come here to school. I was in Plivo at the time. And so when Paramount Chief Chea died, Uncle Chea, as I call him, came from Monrovia on the LNA plane to attend his father's funeral. And Uncle Chea was dressed beautifully. In those days, he had on his honor clothes, white, and had on this nylon shirt. And he attracted me beautifully. So I wanted to come to Monrovia. So anyway, I was in the 7th grade, the 6th grade. So after he left, President Tuckman went to Cape Palmas with a yacht. And I wrote him I wanted to come to Monrovia to go to school, but I never got an answer. But a man who was on the delegation of the president, Thomas Ariland, he was an accountant, a Togolese, with a Togolese father. He settled in our district called Nyanyake. One morning, every morning while the president was visiting, I was in their house, in the late Wilson's house. He would come outside looking for the boys in the house to do something. But since I was just there sleeping with cousin Samuel. So I would be on the porch in the morning. Then he would look around, then say, "Good morning, sir." He would say, "Yeah, I gave him my name. I spoke good English," and you were impressed. I said, "My name is Joe Sampson." And he said, "Okay, will you please give me some money?" I said, "Yes, I will go and bring the water." So we did that for some monies, some days. Then he asked me, "You say you wrote the president. Have you gotten the answer?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "All right, only president you want to carry Monrovia?" I said, "No, if I can get to Monrovia to go to school." He said, "All right, I will carry you." So Thomas Allen brought me in a yacht. It was at the time when President Barkley died, and President Tubman did not travel in a yacht to come back, but he came with LNA, the plane. So we got on a yacht and we came here. We landed here at the port. I lived with Thomas Ireland, his family. I attended the place you used to call Monkey Camp, Monrovia College, which is now the African Methodist University there. I went to school there, and my mother, stepmother, I was living with Thomas Ireland's wife, and she was not too receptive about me. For some reason, she said I was frisky. But I was not frisky, but I was very committed to my school business. I did not like people sending for me when I'm in class. And people thinking underestimated my commitment for my school. And so I had problem with her. She had problem with me. Anyway, then I used to help one of my friends who was a police officer living with the late Councillor Chesson, Joseph Chesson. So I said, Jacob, I'm looking for somebody to live with, man. The place where I live in right there on Ken Johnson Road. A woman there giving me hard time. She would call me out of class and all that kind of thing. And on a day we having class, that Monday morning, then she said, "I'm going to wash clothes." I don't have problem washing clothes. I'm able to wash clothes. But she would do it on a school day, on Saturday and other days. She would want me to do different things. Then on Monday morning when we're supposed to go to school, then she said, she dish out a whole lot of clothes from the closet and said, "I'm going to wash it." So Jogapo said, "Okay." He talked to Councillor Chesson, who was the Attorney General, for me to stay there. So they invited me. Chesson invited me that afternoon, and I went there. He asked for my name. Mommy was sitting there, Mrs. Chesson, Leona Chesson, and he asked me a question, and I answered with clean English. I was not just an ordinary country boy who came to school. I was an enlightened country boy. So the woman said, "He know plenty." So he speak good English. That's what she said. Mommy started having confidence in me the very day she met me. We call her Mommy. Then Councillor Chesson said, "So you told Jacob Cole you want to stay here?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Okay, if you steal, I'll put you in the post stacket. I will lock you up." Before I got there, the boys that were living with Chesson stole the police guns that he stored in his house for safety. And so he was very concerned about stealing. So he told me, "If you steal, I'll put you in jail." I said, "All right, sir." So he said, "You can go and bring your things." He called Jacob Cole. He said, "You take the car, let him go to the place. Tell the people I will want for him to stay with me." I said, "Okay." Jacob Cole went with me in a black car. So you see, I started riding a black car a long time from here. So we went down to Camp Johnson Road. Luckily, Thomas Ireland was there. and Mrs. Ireland was there. Well, both of them were there. And Jacob Cole told them that Honorable Chesson had asked him to stay with him, and he accepted me. But he didn't want to take me from here unless he informed them. So Ireland said, okay. But Joe, if you want to go, you wouldn't tell me, I will find you somebody. That's why he said, I didn't say anything. I picked up my thing, and I went to Chesson. I went right here on Ashmont Street, that old house. People not there now, it was a frame house, had upstairs and downstairs. That's where I went to school. The year I got in Chesson House, the year after that, I was finishing an elementary school. We took the Tuckman Scholastic Test, and I became second in math and second in English. So I got a scholarship. It was time for me to go to I got a scholarship to go to BWI for 4 years. My stepfather, Attorney General Joseph Chesson, had gone to, along with Foreign Minister, Secretary of State Graham, had gone to France. They were there for 6 months negotiating the boundary between Liberia and Guinea. So I went to school that morning. Chesson was not disposed for me to accept the scholarship. He wanted me to stay here in Monrovia and attend the laboratory high, the high school in the University of Liberia. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go to school in Kipa. So Mommy made a decision in the absence of Pa Chesson that I should go on to BWI since I got a scholarship. So I went there on BWI. On BWI, I did well in school. I was not a brilliant student, but I passed my lessons and I was well known among my friends. The teachers knew me. I was a student leader. I was president of the junior class, and I was chairman of the sanitary committee on BWI. During my tenure, I used to tell seniors, if you don't clean your thing, you will not go to school. So people got to know me, and I liked being among people and active. I finished high school, I came. Mommy granted me a scholarship to go abroad. She sent me to University of North Carolina, called the North Carolina Central School, Law School. North Carolina Central University, and then I have the North Carolina Central Law School. I went there. She said, I will pay you way for 1 semester. I know the second semester you will be able to put yourself through school. The thing to do when you get there, they got a dining hall there. You can work in the dining hall. You could work in the library of the university. You could be part of the cleaning in the university and be cutting grass, or a maintenance man in the dormitory. That will help to pay for your tuition. I said, yes, ma'am. She paid my way. It was $400 to go to America in those days. And I got to New York. When I got to New York, I took a bus and went on to North Carolina, Durham. And I started my school. My tuition was paid, and so I didn't have any problem to give me a space in dormitory, and I was there. I passed my initial test. The second semester, I didn't have any tuition. I went to the office and told them that I didn't have tuition, but I wanted to be in school. So they said that there was a man called Philip Stokes. He made available a certain amount of money from his estate in New York City, that if Africans go to America, any black man, youth who didn't have money and wanted to be in school, that person they could take money from his estate to finance the education. So I went through school on the scholarship of Philip Stokes Fund from New York City. And that's for my tuition, books, but my board and room, that is where I slept and what did I eat. I work in the kitchen, in the dining hall. First of all, I work in the kitchen. I help the cook to cook the university students food. And from there, then they send me to the pantry. I'm responsible for people, juniors, who were washing dishes, making the plate ready. I mean, it was an industry when the time to eat, thousands of students. Of course, there were plenty of girls, 7 girls to 1 boy. We were about 7,000 students, black. You see, it's part of one black and white boys, you know, white boys, black women and white girls and boys in our school. At the time, Martin Luther King was raving America for reform. And so they tried to integrate the school. So I work in the library, in the dining hall. I like working to the dining hall because I like to drink plenty of milk. So it was enjoyable. It was not a labor for me. I go to the dining hall, I ate plenty. And, you know, I came from a home where food was hard to find. So you give me plenty of food, you know I will eat it. So I enjoy myself there working in the dining hall. When I got to be in the 2nd year, I got a job in the library. I work in the library, so I'm a devout librarian. But I didn't like packing books and checking people how many books they took and when they brought it. I didn't think it was a good endeavor for me. So I didn't go into library science. At the junior class, I made an application to go to the NCC Law School. I went and took the test. You do take the test in those days in the junior class. So I was able to pass. Then they call it aptitude test, law aptitude test. After our senior year, I got admitted in the school. I went to school, president of the student body from Africa. I participated in the law review writing. I wrote my article, I think it was republished in the law school here. In fact, I'm beginning to think now, I think I'll go in the law school and start teaching. I just forget. Okay, I'll do that. So I wrote an article in the law journal. I haven't seen the law journal for a long time. So I think when I go start teaching, I will be editor of that law journal so we can have one more here. Because when I came from school, we had one. And I published something on land ownership and use in Africa. And so I had information about the problem now that they're having in Zimbabwe, where most of the arable land that taken by the settlers, the Indians, the white folks that took over Zimbabwe and many parts of Africa. And how here, the indigenous land, we don't have any land anymore. Our government declared that the land was for government and that they can take it, misappropriate it, and do anything with it. You just have to move. And so I wrote an article on that. So you see, from the beginning, I've been very active. All right, I finished college, I came home. I didn't I wanted to be a lawyer. And I didn't want to, since I didn't want to work just anywhere.
All right, folks. And I want you to follow through with this. I just don't want it to be a long drawn out. I want you to know that I'm here. Did you hear that? So the government come up, will be like in the 1960s, because this is where Martin Luther King is out advocating for Black people, okay? The government have come and declared all the land and the people who were there before, that the land all belong to the government. You remember, you're listening, folks, especially young people, okay? The old people who don't want to, most of us are on our way out. Now we are the escorts. But you young people, this is for you, okay? I come and sit here so you can hear. Did you hear this man? This man testimony is about 2 hours. So we're going to play some and we're going to leave some. But I want you to listen keenly. I want you to listen to the power that be, how the country organized itself, who was in charge. Was it the president? Was it the party? Was it the group? Then you reflect, okay, and see, where are we now? What has changed? That's what I want you to listen to. All right. So let's continue this conversation with Chea Chapoo. I'll continue with him. All right. Listen, please take your time and listen. If not, I will post the actual link over here and you can always listen to it. I want all of us to learn this together. I know sit in one place to listen to this, but that's able to project the future. You must know the past. There's a saying that goes, Shanto, which is a Japanese philosophy. It says, the tree without a root will eventually die because there's nothing to feed it. Okay? And Garvey said, a people without a history is like a tree without a root. So you have nothing to reference. Here is some of our reference point. All right? Listen up. I want you to please take your time and listen. All right? Please do.
So I wrote my name. I went to Daily Listener, the newspaper in town at the time, and published an advertisement and told them that I was a law student, a graduate from this school, and I want a job. Well, the Daily Listener published an article and put my picture to the bottom of my story. I didn't like that. My picture is supposed to be to the top of the story, not to the bottom of it. I didn't like it. He put my picture all the way to the last of the page. People look up, they don't look down. I didn't like that. Anyway, so I later on I wrote President Tuckman to work in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they call it, State Department in those days. They said they had a position there. So I wrote President Tuckman. The answer was not forthcoming. So Oliver Bright right here, Simpson and Simpson Law Firm, Simpson and Bright Law Firm, they asked me, I went there looking for a job and they gave me a job. So I started my practice right on the Honor Justice Department. There I practiced law, and then, later on, Secretary Graham gave me a job and wanted me to come and work in the State Department as the legal counsel. In those days, the State Department legal counsel was equivalent to that of Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. But when I got there, Tuckman wrote the letter appointing me. I got a copy of it. But Graham did not give me the job. Graham gave the job to my friend Henry Reed Cooper, who was his cousin. I didn't like that. Okay, because Henry Reed Cooper had applied. And of course, there was a rift between the Cooper family and the Tuckman in some election of the True Party. And so they didn't answer Henry Cooper. But when they answered me, they appointed me, I got a copy of the letter. And then they called me there. But when I went there, I didn't get the job. Instead, they made me economic officer at the Ministry Department, State Department. I worked there for some time. I didn't want to be an economist. So I got another job with Warren Jones at Ministry of Commerce Industry down there on Camp Johnson Road. And I worked there for some time. All right. Then in 1975, Senator Conway of Grand Jetta County passed. He was representing Lower Grand Jetta, which is a Grable Belt. Upper Grand Jetta is the Crown Belt. He was living there. He died. So I decided to run for the Senate. And I wrote, one of the reasons why I left to run for office was this. I went to the Ministry of Lands and Mines, wanted a legal counsel, and they were providing more money than in Justice Department. And even when I was in Justice Department, during President Torbo administration, I was prepared when Steve Torbo Minister of Finance decided to do the review of concessions agreement, Firestone, Lamco, and the others. Then in those days, the timber company was beginning to come. I worked with the concession secretary and Ministry of Finance as the lawyer to review. But when time comes to have meeting on a high level, Simpson would take a different person, Clarence Simpson. He would not take me. I was in charge of concession review. He would not take me. He would take somebody else to go to a meeting. I think he was boycotting me. I didn't like that. All right. So I decided then I'm not going to be working. I can't do the work when time comes to go to a bigger meeting for people to know me. Then you carry somebody else. Anyway, before I left Justice Department, President Tobo wanted to know why is it that President, Speaker, and the Chief Justice were not paying income taxes. They have passed the Liberian income tax law. But these people, nobody dare collect tax from President's salary, the Chief Justice, and the other Vice President. They didn't pay taxes. So they went to a cabinet meeting, and President Tobo wanted to know whether you could get Justice Department opinion on whether or not he should pay taxes as president. I'm trying to tell you who I am. So bear patient. We are here for that today. So all of us, we met down there on the last window down in Justice Department there. And everybody said, well, you know, yeah, the president has to pay tax because they are the leader of the country. And these are the three main leaders, the judiciary, and, you know, vice president. And then, you know, so. Well, I look at the income tax law. Every public civil servant must pay tax, income tax to the government if you are working with government. All right. That's what the law says. So I wrote my memorandum to Clarence Simpson, then Minister of Justice, that yeah, the president is a public servant. He's a civil servant. According to the law, all civil servants pay taxes. Chief Justice is also a public servant. And the vice president is a public servant. They should pay taxes. They went to a meeting at the ministry, at the executive mansion. They made all the report, and Justice Ministry said, but I got one opinion. The majority wrote that they should not pay tax. The president, vice president, and chief justice. But my memorandum was single one that said they should pay tax by virtue of the law, that they were public servants, civil servants. I was sitting in the office there, and Clarence Simpson sent his big long car, and he said, I'm gonna come to a cabinet meeting. It's the first time I didn't know. In fact, I didn't even know people were having meetings there. So I got in the car. When I reached there, I got in, then I saw all these well-dressed, highly respected Liberians sitting down. These were cabinet minister, not Tobo. So Tobo said, come in. So I came in. And he gave me a chair. I sat down. And he said, you are the one in Justice Department, you wrote, say, I'm going to pay taxes. You're not President of Liberia. I said, he said, stand up. I said, what kind of trouble did today? So I stood up. So he said, yeah, I'm asking you a question. You say that the president must pay tax? You ever see that? I said, yes, sir. I said that. I wrote a memorandum. He said, yes, so I'm asking you now. I said, yes, sir, you're supposed to pay tax because you are a civil servant according to the law. He said, I cited the section in my letter when I was writing the Minister of Justice. He said, so I said, yeah, because you are a civil servant. Civil servant. And then there's no exclusion made in the statute saying that the vice president, vice president, and chief justice should not pay taxes. No exception, sir. It sends you to me, even though you are elected to your office and other people are appointed, but then you are a public servant, civil servant. You work with government. For me, anybody who works with government is a civil servant. He said, I said, yes, sir. He said, all right. Simpson, I want him to make him what is he doing now? He said, well, he's a legal counsel. He said, all right, let him be assistant minister, create a position for assistant ministership and let him be the assistant minister. So the president on first sight gave me a job. Now who did it? President William R. Tobo. And you know I'm going to like him because he's the only one who looked in the trash can, in the trash basket and took me out that I could be a paper that can be straightened and have use. God was already thrown away. I come from the village. I got no family connections. I was just here. In fact, Chesson asked me to be Joe Chesson III. Well, I took that name because I feel that he said if I didn't take the name, I would graduate in then. If you don't take my name, then I will not support you. I have nothing to do with your graduation. So I told the people at BWI, y'all can put Joseph J. Chesson III. You put on my. So I did that. Well, I did that to move on. Nothing can stop me. I must move. I have a problem being called somebody named temporarily because I knew what I was going to do when I got of age and capable to sustain to be my own man. At that time, I was not my own man. I was just a student. So I took Chesson name. On my diploma today, you see Joseph J. Chesson III. I went to America with that name. My grandfather, Mr. Chapoo, his name is Trc Chapoo. Trc Chapoo was a very hard man to work with. He was very dynamic and strict. When the time meet tomorrow or today, and say tomorrow, all of us are going to clean the road, leaving from the Gabriel Tucker Bridge all the way to Douala. And everybody should be there first thing in the morning. The country devil will be there. Women should not go on that side of the farm because men will be working there. My grandfather will be the first person there with his palm wine. And if you come late, you and him will have problems. So he was a strong public servant, strict and dynamic. For some reason, I got that instinct of my grandfather. And so you and I can be doing something, it had to be right. I don't get anything by doing that. It's not I get plenty bad name about it. People tend to shun me, maybe they're afraid of me because they think I will expose them. I don't go around exposing you. I just will not join you. I will not do it. If it's not right, I will not do it. If the president's supposed to pay taxes, I will tell him he must pay taxes because that's what the law says. I'm not going to say this and that, beg the issue. This is how I have been all along. Anyway, having known President Tauber from my first interaction with him, when Kamwe died in 1975, I got a job. I was not being paid properly, so I got a job with Ministry of Lands and Mines. They were paying more money to me than Assistant Minister of Justice. So I wanted to take the job. And Simpson didn't want me to leave the office, the Justice Department. So he blocked me with the Minister of Lands and Mines, and I didn't get the job. I didn't like that. I don't want people blocking me. So I left the Justice Department and went up country. I'm saying all I did to let you know that I am my own man. Let me say what this man, Al Gore, told the American people, even though I work with Bill Clinton, but I am my own man. I make my own decisions. So I left and went up country to make farm. I set up a company called JEDECO, JEDEC Development Corporation. We were involved in farming, leaving law and going to agriculture. I went up country, and I didn't only just do agriculture for myself. I saw to it that the deed that my people were aspiring for which I was interpreter in Plebo, Maryland County, to Chief Justice Jack Dash Wilson, who was a lawyer for our tribe. There was always a confrontation for land. I told you there are big tribes that are surrounding us, but we got more land than they do because we used to fight them. My father was one of the heroes with the Glaros. He killed their hero right in the center of our town, who happened to be my mother's relative. So I saw to it that we got that land. I got the land, I bought the land, redeemed it from Dash Wilson through my wife. When I was coming home, I fell in love with one lady called Marble Morse. Marble Morse, at the time when I was in Cleveland, Ohio, after I graduated, Marble Morse was all in the paper. She was the first best teacher in reading in the primary school. And so she got an award. So that was cool, huh? So very educated, and you got this notoriety in the paper, in the white paper where there's discrimination and all of that. So I met her with Brogan. Brogan was the cook for one of the Methodist preachers He went to America there, and he was working. So I visited him. He said, "Oh, somebody is coming. I'm having a dance here and a birthday party for my girlfriend. I had some friend would be coming. I was alone at the time. I didn't have a girlfriend. I left my girlfriend in North Carolina. And I was shy with women, my people. I didn't get into this thing. I was told to do it before I started with my business. I did not get into it. I didn't like women, and I was not too friendly with them. But now I am the lover of women because I know what they can do. Yeah. So I went to dance with Marva. You know how we can dance here? We Liberian boy, we dance. And be the way how we used to dance. So I started dancing. Then I stepped in on Marva's foot. But the guy know how to dance. Who teach you like that? See, now, I said, Marva, you can't dance? Say, yeah. Anyway, we got interested and we married. And we came home. Marva's father was a trucker. He had a truck company. He's a man who couldn't read and write, the American Negro, as they call them, black man. He takes his truck and distribute or transport building materials. You just imagine the city of Cleveland, how big it is. And when we were there in those days, it was just, black people were just, people were building. There was a movement there to build a new class. Black people had universities and people were getting educated and they had money. And Mr. Moss was transporting those. He had plenty of money. I took money from my father-in-law and bought the land. I didn't just go up country. This is what I did. So I am the first indigenous student who left home, came to school, graduated, went back and did something for my people. The very land they used to fight war for, they don't have to fight war now. They own the land legally. My grandfather fought the hero as a hero. But then I decided, well, we don't need to fight about that. This is a legal matter. So we made sure we got the land, we got the deed. I got it right now in my trunk. So they got land. They don't have to fight for it anymore. All right. Then I decided, well, since I'm already in Grand Jede County, Senator Campbell died, and I want to run for Senate. So I began to campaign for the Senate. Jackson E. Doe from Nimba County, President Torbo, they were my advisor. So Jackson Doe told me, well, the thing to do is get one cow for Torbo, one cow for Speaker Henry, and one cow for Mike DeShee. He was chairman of the True Party in those days. I said, all right. So I got the cows. I put it in the pickup. I always drive pickup. I'm still driving it today. I drove it myself. My wife now tells me, Mama soon say I'm too old. I'm not old, please. So I drive my pickup. And I was supposed to have a small stroke. But because I am driving my pickup, my left hand is supposed to be paralyzed. I am not sick. The left leg now is more stronger than the right leg. And this is where I felt the pain. Because I have to use the clutch to change the gear and all of that. That gave me strength. And I think driving car at my age is like running every morning. It's physically fit. You have to turn the wheel. My power steering is not working anymore. So I have to turn it with my arms. My stomach moving. So I'm physically fit every morning. And I ran for the Senate. I asked President Torbo, went to Bentor. At the time the old man was building his place there. And he talked with me. President Torbo liked to talk to people. He was a very good progressive. But he was in the midst of an establishment. And his advisors were very conservative. So he could not expound or undertake his progressive stance. Even though he died in the process, but Torbo was between two pillars. The young people were for change, but he was in the midst of old people who were very conservative and were not prepared to change. So he didn't know he was bound by this. He was enslaved by this condition. At times, President Tobo want to be liberal, but his true party hegemony will not let him do that. Because everything they did, they have to have meeting. They have a chairman. They have a secretary general. All the great officials of the government were all true party members. And he could not just do anything. The only thing I see is that it's the system that confronted me, you, President Tobo, and the True Party. The people who built this building you're in now, they were too strict in what they believed. They were not prepared to change. And all of us that work with them, Tobo sustained death unnecessarily. We got bad name. I'm still talking. I'm still answering questions. Not just the TRC asking me to come talk here this morning. People still ask me about the things that happened when we were working for change here. Boys meet me, say, you remember I was in jail with y'all, and when y'all got in power, you never gave us any job. Even though I put some of the boys, many boys that I knew, I just threw them in the police force. I said, you, that was illegal, but that was a revolutionary stance. You, the boys who could be sent quickly, I said, okay, I'm making sergeant, make them on lieutenant, make that other man private, make them, you go to CID. People who used to bring messages to us and go to the soldier and get message from us, and go to Richard Henry house and get information from the cook and other things. They were CID people because that was the work they were doing. So, Tobo introduced me to Albert White, who was the superintendent. I am a citizen of Grand Jede County, and I live, in fact, it was Albert White. I took my wife, after Simpson blocked me not to get a good job at Lens and Mine as a lawyer. I took my wife and we went. And I was going in my village to stay with my American children and my American woman. Albert White is the one who called me that morning and said, well, he was superintendent at the time. Let me drink some water, my people. Albert White told me, Chapoo, you bring the American woman from a big city, and you say you're going to the village, you got hospital there. And I said, yeah, but she's a good teacher, she will go and set up a school. He said, well, first of all, no school there, and you're not working. So when y'all get there, the woman will not be working. Where you will get money to set up a school? Y'all got to build a schoolhouse and do this and get students, all that kind of thing. It will take time. No people in the village don't have money to pay tuition and this and that. So how are you going to manage? You're going to go down. I know you're not able to make farm and cut steak and burn a place, and your wife plan the rest. You're not disposed to doing that. So since you want to come home, stay. I'm simpleton here. Stay in the city. At least I would recommend a woman, she can be teaching in the school since she's a teacher. And you can be practicing your law. And you lawyer? I said, yes, it's all right. Then you call his special assistant. He said, come and I saw a house there that the missionaries were using for guest house. They're not there now. I said, yes, okay. I rent it to Mr. Chapoo and his family, so they're going to stay here. That's how I got in his bedroom. But when I was running for Senate, Albert White was not supporting me. He wanted one old man called Gibson. I knew I had something to do for them. But Albert White thought that the old man should be the first to get a chance. In those days, that's what the True Party does. First come first. But when President Tobo went to Zedru, Grand Jede County, to raise funds for the Methodist school compound that is there now, I gave them $500 Liberian in those days, and I was not plenty of money. I used to practice law up there, and those of you who are young people, I want to tell you now in saying, if you are a lawyer, don't get your law degree and just sit down in Monrovia. There's plenty of money there, up country. When I went up country, my practice became better. I got more money because they will give me cows, they will give me goats, they will give me clean rice, they will do things for me. People will keep animal and take it all the way from Town. They say I killed this deer, and so I wanted to. I don't want to sell it, so I bring it to you, counselor. So I have meat in the house, I have rice, I have different things. I like to eat something they call bitter root. People will make bitter root for me. So I had a nice time, more than what I had in Monrovia here. So when you get your education, go home. Don't go to the village unless you're close to the capital of the county. Go to the village and pursue your educational endeavor or your professional endeavor. Don't go in the country. The way to get a job, and if you want to be a politician, it doesn't matter. But go back to your village. I went to my village, and it was easy for me to. I didn't even go in representative town. I went straight to the Senate. All my government job, I take the big one. I don't take small one. So when I was, yes, well, you got to hang your wagon to a star. You want to do something, you do it well. When I got ready to marry, I made sure I married an educated woman. And so, and I found a woman who had a very good beginning financially. So I didn't have problem. Mawa pay our way to come here. Me, I arrived here with $10 in my pocket. When I got here, I called her, Mawa, the $10 I brought, cousin Tia didn't have a fitting place to stay. So I had to take that $10 and rent a room. And I got malaria. So I'm sick. Mawa had to send me money. But when I took her home, she knew, she got to know that this was not just a pauper that she married. There was a man that came from some family, some background that worth notice and respect and was to be respected. So go back home. When you graduate, go back. Don't linger around Claratown, New Crew Town, Central Monrovia and waste your time. You want to be a politician? Go back home. Let the Maserado boys take over Maserado. You go back home like I did. That is the way to start. It's very easy. You know your people and you are in a better position because you're one of the best. So I went home and President Talbot told Superintendent White at the end of his journey, he stayed in Zedru. He took my hand at the end of the city. Every time I reach that spot, I want to cry. And he took my hand and put it in our right hand. He said, there is some good in the man. So support him. So, sorry, I left the podium. In other words, he told me that there's some good in me, so otherwise should support me. So, I was elected by the True Party as a senator. There are 24 electoral districts in Grand Jede County, and this is how the True Party made its decision. We didn't do it by popular vote. We did it by administrative vote. I had resolution, and the rule was give resolution to one candidate. And the country, our indigenous people knew that. The True Party chairman in the very electoral district knew better that you gave only one recommendation, one resolution to one candidate. Look among all the candidates, and each district you give one resolution. You don't give it to, not the thing we do here, when Peter can you gain resolution, then Henry can you gain resolution, no. So they gave me, out of the 24 electoral district, I was able to get 21 resolutions, right here in the True Party building. And Ometua told the president, the True Party delegate, that's how you win election in the True Party. They control the system. You got electoral resolution from each district. Then you put the ballots together, those resolutions, and you bring them to the True Party meeting. Then at that meeting, they will be sitting just like this, and they will call each candidate. And they will ask the chairman of the party, how many resolutions is candidate Peter has or candidate Chipo has? I had 21 resolutions out of 24. So I became senator. I got to be senator through the True Party without even knowing. I ain't run camping. I ain't spend no money. I ain't do nothing. I don't know. Every time I lay in my bed, is this the better system? It's cheaper. You don't have to work, spend plenty of money. The 24 electoral district, my expenses were very small. You know, and at that time, Marva sent for money from her father. And so we had enough money. We always have a pickup, plenty of gas. And so it was easy for me to get to be a senator. I got to be a senator through the True Party. I got in the Senate, but I didn't forget my Chipoism. it had to be right if I'm going to participate. If it's not right, you got problem with me. And I will not relent to let you know I'm not doing it. So I got in the Senate. They asked us to pray. And President Pro Tempore of the Senate, Frank Torber, said, gentlemen, let us pray. He didn't say rise up. He said, let us pray. So everybody stood up. Me, I turned around and kneeled on my chair. After they meet that prayer, everybody was standing up. So when they said amen, they were all looking. Me, I had to get up from my knees. And Frank Torber had a problem about that. He said, why? We tell people praying and we all standing, then you kneeling. You're not supposed, when you get in bad town, you do as the bad do. I said, well, I thought this was the Liberian Senate. This is my constitutional right to pray as I wish, the freedom of religion. All of you can stand up when you talk to your God. But when I talk to my God, I kneel. That's why I knelt. Now you're telling me this and that. So I'm not going to do that. He said, all right. So he went and told his brother, President Torber, about the upstart boys that got in there. He said he's senator. He's an upstart. And he always saying that his constitutional right. So President Torber, every time we meet, he will say, constitutional right. And I say, constitutional right. And that's the name me and the old man had. All right. So Frank Torber is a lawyer. Richard Henry, the speaker, is a lawyer. There were plenty of lawyers in there. Well, I had my law firm from Grand Jede County when I came. So I was a senator. I had a law firm and I was practicing. And one company that is in Claratown there, they used to make marbles, you know, tiles that we call tiles for the house. And they asked me to represent them. Well, I came back to the Simpson Law Firm. And Simpson Law Firm that was representing that factory told me to go to court on this matter. So I went, when Simpson, Boiler Holder, I was a young lawyer. So they told me to go to court. So I went to court and I won the case. I ejected the man. He was wrongfully on the company property. He was working. He lost his job because of theft, and he was still living there. So we ousted him through the process of law. This Liberian Senate said, I went to court and as senator, and that was unbecoming of a senator. Oh, you yourself talking, Frank Torber, you yourself lawyer, you got law firm. And the speaker of the house got law firm, the Henry's law firm. And I have seen Henry's go to cases when it's very important. Yeah, he might not stand up and plead, but he will go to the Supreme Court and take a chair and sit there. And the Chief Justice knows who's sitting there in this case. That's how you plead law. So I went to court, the True Party hegemony inside the, what they call the Senate, Liberian Senate. They say that, this was 1977. They say that I did something that was unbecoming of a senator. So they expelled me from the Senate through a joint resolution. I got one fellow called Joseph Andrews. I will go look for Joseph Andrews because Joseph Andrews is crying on the radio now saying he's sick. Well, Joseph Andrews was the man who made testimony. We all come from Weber District. He made testimony against me and when they were impeaching me from the Senate. So I will look for him, but they say he's sick. I will look for late money and go see him. He's my friend. Anyway, I was impeached. And I didn't like that. I thought it was gross advantage on the part, taken of me on the part of True Party. And why these people, when you're working with them, they always try to do all kind of things to you. You think Frank Torber's son will be treated like that? None of their children will be treated like that. But because my father was not among them, neither was my mother. So they just treated me any kind of way. And I didn't like it. So I decided to react against the True Party. And I did. When I left the Senate,
sorry, hopefully most of you got where we are at this point, okay? Chea Chapoo is explaining. He was able to go to school because somebody took him in. The people could not afford to send him to school. He also, we're talking in the 60s. He also saying to us, the government declared all of the land in Liberia, even those who were on the land before, and it brought some sort of friction, okay? The government declared 8 years that all belong to the government. So who can decide? And this brings me to the Peter, Paul, John, Mary people who popping out of the Woolworth and coming back to Liberia and say, this mass property belong to their parents. They won't belong. And if you check the background, I'm sorry, listen, the essence of history is not to make you better, but to make you better. And I started this conversation that way, that when I introduce my children to the world history class every year, I let them understand, open your mind, open your hearts, okay? Things will happen to you. Hey, Mo, okay? I need you to open your mind. You will see stuff that will upset you. But the essence of learning history is to give you perspective, to help you reflect, live, walk other people, have some empathy, walk other people's shoes. This man, and I always say that this is my third or my fourth time watching Chea Chapoo. His testimony and Halahaji GV testimony were one of the most, if not the two most authentic that I listen to. Because I have bridged, I tell people I've been on both sides of the railroad. I've been where my mother have to go fishing before we could eat. And I've been where we have car to drop her to school, where we came home, somebody cook. I've been on both sides. So I know this man, because he wanted to learn, it's almost like, where is it? That's a book that I read when I was in grad school way back called The Financier. It's almost like The Financier. How desperate this man was. If he had stayed where he was, he would not go to learn. And for him to be able to get an education, he had to take on to somebody else's identity. Okay? And you also understand how Liberia was being ruled. And the same thing is happening now. They rub the oil on our mouth, but they're still doing that. Imagine, it is the Anderson, it is the Tarbert, it is the Hendricks, the Brights. You need them. All right? Did you hear him? And this man was willing to fight. So I want you to follow through, because I'm not gonna high quality been an hour. I was gonna do, but his testimony is so long. But for me, as somebody who teach history, and that's what keep us ahead, because history rams if we don't learn from it. You may have different faces, you might have different voices, it might be different time, but the pattern, if you follow it, you will see what is happening. You see when people are projecting what's going to happen within, like, between America and Iran, what happened in with the Roman Empire, what happened with the Greek, what happened with Hitler, what happened with this, because people are studying that. I want you all to listen and take heed, okay? Take heed. Liberian did not have any say. The majority of the people did not have any say so in the governance system. There were no personal freedom. There were no political freedom. There was no economic freedom. There's still no economic freedom, no personal freedom per se. You only have that depending on who you align with. So listen to Chea. I'm not there, okay? And I think this man, and he's articulate. I understand it's like somebody telling me Machiavellian style 500 years ago in war. He didn't project that we will have robot fighting. He didn't project that we will have drones fighting, okay? But majority of his thought process, we can still relate to today. Listen to Chea Chapoo. Let's continue this conversation, guys. We're about to get off, but I want you to hear this. It's really important. I'll put a link down here also.
I went first to Tipota with his moja. I went that morning. I talked to Dr. Tipota. Y'all take your Noro. We're coming near there. Dr. Tipota and I talk. And we always, I used to, when I was in Kepama, I used to like to go on the beach and go swim with the crew boys. So I know crew very well. And every time I see Dr. Chipote, I always speak crew, Bobby. And so at that morning, looking for somewhere to go, just coming from the Senate, my name all in the paper, all the radio, how I did something unbecoming of a senator, all kind of things. So I was expelled from the Senate and all kinds of things. Every day, chipo. So I said, I didn't pay attention to them. I decided what I was going to do. I was going to look for one of the ringleaders of the progressive movement. They True Party got to go. And I made up my mind. They expelled me. I was going to nationally work to expel them from politics. And I did. So, I know, they're building there. I don't know why government can't take it over. In fact, that land belonged to the Liberian government, not for True Party. That is the last place of the American Colonization Society spot right there. It's not for True Party, but they took it because they had the power. If I ever make up my mind, I will file suit in court at the appropriate Supreme Court when it's sitting. We take that land and make it government land. It's not True Party building. If you build any kind of mansion on my land, you got no title, that mansion go to me because you have no right there. So that building is the government building. So I went to Chipote. We sat down that morning, we talked. He said you were having a meeting with Burma family, Sawyer, and Community Wisa and Do Mason. Those were the Moja boys. I said, all right. We were there all the afternoon. Talk. And in the afternoon, Sawyer came in, Burma family came in, and the other majority of them had gathered. So then he said that, Councillor, excuse me. I said, all right. He left me. He asked me I could participate in the meeting, but he left me sitting and he went in there, had a meeting with these other people. So as I told his boy, after staying there for a long time, I know that they were in there now, deliberating on their meeting. So I sent there, I said, tell Dr. Chipote so that I'm outside here. He said, okay. The boy went and came and said, I told him. I said, okay. Later on again, I sent there. He said, tell him I'm coming. So I picked up my bag and left. I was not welcome. And I still tell him that the people that discriminated against me. I am an upstart native boy like himself. Like he was crying here, he had no shoes. We all came from the same stock. Then he will go have meeting with a Sawyer or this or person, and he will invite me. Then when I sit there, when the audience come, then he will exclude me and tell me he's coming. He did not forget about me. I took exception. So I walk out. So I heard about the Progressive Alliance of Liberia PAL. So I'm looking for somewhere to go now. I'm looking for allies for my war of change. So I decided to go to progressive people because I was rejected by the Moja people. So I said, well, okay, I'll go. First, my first choice was to go to Moja, but Moja rejected me. So then, in essence, what they did, I felt it as a rejection. So then I went to down on Gully Street there. They had a PAL meeting. So I went there. As soon as I walk in, our late chairman, G. Bago Murphy, walk out, say, yeah, our lawyer has come. Just I can't leave it. Well, I smart and bring it because I'm going to be dancing here. Oh, it's here. Testing. All right. Bago Murphy walked out and stretched forth his hand and welcomed me as the lawyer for Progressive People's Party, for the PAL, Progressive Alliance of Liberia. Oh, I ain't even telling man what I'm here for. Maybe I was here on a private business. Then you go give me job already, a lawyer. So I accepted the job because that's what I was looking for anyway, a place to stay. So I became a member of the Progressive Alliance of Liberia. And I took part in all the Central Committee meetings. In our Central Committee meetings, the only thing we really usually dwell on, how we were going to be able to form a political grouping that we had control over as young people. So people who were fighting go to court. I always used to. I went to Cape Mount. I never saw Cape Mount before. I went there to release people from jail. My father said Chesson was then Minister of Justice for what is his name? For the top of government. He was first removed. Then when things became critical, they brought Chesson back. I went to Nimba. I was in Nimba representing Doki, Sam Doki, and other people who were being in prison. At the same time, Tobo was visiting there for development meeting in Saniquile there. When we came back, that's the time Bacchus Matthew and some boys tried to go to the mansion to to make a protest. When I came from there, we had a central committee meeting. I told Bacchus, I said,
so let me just explain to you. First thing is, if you go back and listen to Mr. Chapoo testimony, he said Tarboro was a victim of his time. He wanted change, but he was already in a group that he belonged to that made a decision. It was not the people of the nation. It was not the government. It was the group that were behind him, the two-wing power party. And like people, you have to understand, two-wing party is an American name. It was a party in the United States that suppressed Black people. It was the party of the Ku Klux Klan. It was the party of, I can go on and on. Yes, I teach U.S. history, so I know. All right. Now, the people, he did not face the reality at the time. The population, in fact, there were about 4,000 people. Okay, we are told. Okay, or I don't know how many, over 100 families. All right, or 400 family or 4,000, whatever it is, not to be sarcastic. But you are leading at least 1 million people who were inhabitants of the land that were supposed to grow with you. You were supposed to grow together, build a nation together. But and then you took everything from them. Like the deed that my grandparents had, the president's signature have to be on it. Although my great-great-grandparents lived there before. My over 300 years of my generation live on that land, own that land. Somebody else show up and tell you it does not belong to you. And they will give you, they will take what they can take and give you what they want. My uncle was one of the people that ended up going from Firestone to Fernanipo because they want a hot tax. Those days you can't pay, they confiscated a family member and they carry them. You saw where Jeremiah introduced the other day. Did you all listen to Mr. Cummings yesterday? How we can raise taxes? Here, the taxes we pay is based on income. The property taxes we pay and it's put into education. It stays within our community. That's why every community has different kind of resource. But let's continue to listen to Mr. Chapoo. If you took note, you will hear this man have given you 200 years of history. Just through from his vantage point, his own life, cross culture for up interior, how he was able to get education, how there were no school up interior. Okay. And I always told you, majority of the school up interior were built by missionaries, not by government. You're complaining and laughing at children not going to school. We fought almost 20 years of war. We have not built foundational education. We got Chinese people to come and build some universities. We have 2 lost generations. Let's continue.
Bacchus, if we're looking for president, it won't be you. I'm not going to replace Bacchus Matthew with a Turbo. So we're going to get 100 men who either named Chea or named Dote. He's going to be the president. First of all, I dare your approbation for going to the mansion after 6 o'clock when the flag is down to go make political protest. That was erroneous, and that was a bad decision you made. Mind you, the power is not your pocket thing. All of us are inside here, and we are the ones dying and suffering. So if you think you're going to run power in your pocket, the true party, the president or chairman can run, few people running, it will not be that. We have a central committee. If you know you want to march on the mansion at night time, you should let the Central Committee know so they can properly advise you. But you risk the life of our members. So you're not going to be our president. Kuya, you know I told you. So, Baga Matthew and I, we had difference of opinion. Then I will continue when we have meetings, especially in March when Toba used to invite us to try to negotiate. At one time, he wanted to put our members in the government. So we said, well, if you put in the government, you will be swallowed. And when you're in the system stomach, the little thing you're going to be a digester, and all the other variable in you will be going to the various parts, and you will be split, and you will not be able to do anything. So we can't take government job. What we want, we're calling for a by-election so that we can have our own candidate. Toba did not accept that. All right. So we were there. After the rest riot, I wish I was a participant. I didn't take part in the rest riot at the time. I went to represent the Assembly of God Church as a lawyer. They were having problems with the missionary. They wanted to take the church over, and the missionary still wanted to leave it. They wanted to go, but the missionary wanted to dispose of the property. So they asked me to be their lawyer. I got to be their lawyer when I was in Justice Department. So I didn't attend that meeting. But then I was living at the Brewerville mission. There where I was living at the time when they had this rest riot. The rest riot was deadly. But this is what happened. The Progressive People's Party, being not progressive but PAL being an activist organization dedicated to agitation and change, and has his own newspaper and could tell the public. In fact, when we didn't have newspaper, this is how we used to do. Those of you who want to be in the rank, want to take part in change. When you don't have money to publish your own newsletter or your newspaper, just get the newsboys. Tell them when they get their paper and ready to sell it, just put your circular inside there. That's how we used to let everybody know. Before we get something to do, President Toba will know it. Because he reads the newspaper and he will see our circular inside the paper. That's how you do it, easily. And the newspaper printer will not know, even if they know they have nothing to do with it. Usually you pay your money and get your paper. And they pay you for selling it, so you can do anything with it. But later on, we formed our own newspaper, The Revolution, and we used to write. I did not see, I'm the lawyer now, work with government, and the government of True Party was very segregative in giving native people jobs. They wanted the group that came, they wanted to be the leader at all times, and it was not possible. They were getting smaller, they died quicker here because of the climate, they got different approbation in their body because they came from America. But we were born here, and we were born resistant to some diseases, but they were not able to do that. So their population was not increasing. But as civilization, education rose, government spread throughout the country people got to be aware of this good society, new one, where you don't really have to bend down and be cutting bush and this and that and sweating. There was an easier way to live. You come to Monrovia and be educated, you will make it. So we did that. All right. They refused. They didn't like it. They called the Central Committee members, the leadership, to go to the mansion. The negotiation broke down because they didn't want us to have the march. Well, he said, why y'all want to, when government take action, then why you just an organization called out? Business you got to do. Well, we wanted to be known by action, by the way we do things. We want to participate politically. We wanted to let the old people know that we wanted another speaker too. They were not only the speaker. We wanted them to pass this dice back to us. And we wanted them to know that we were ready to receive it at the appropriate time. And we didn't want to do it unlawfully. We wanted to do it in keeping with the dictates of our Constitution and the laws of Liberia. And I always told them, this is not legal. This is not legal. That is not legal. I told our Central Committee, making a march at the mansion in the nighttime was illegal. After 6 o'clock, the flag is down. Anything can happen. They didn't have any security approbation to go march in the night toward mansion. It was wrong. I told them that. Yeah, you know I did. And therefore, when the president said they didn't want us to march, I felt that maybe we should give it another time. But the Central Committee decided, in 9-1 man, that we were going to right away let no sense. President Tobo was not disposed to reducing the price or changing his opinion. Then we're going to let him know that that was not right. And certainly the increase in rice was wrong. Because at the time people were making small money. Government couldn't pay. Government was paying, but government was paying nothing. That's why you have when you go to the ministry, when somebody sign you paper, or the mentioner tell the chief that you come to see him, you got to give him something they call dash. To augment his salary, his income, the government were not paying anything. While few people were getting millions, they will go and borrow money to do development. They divide it among themselves. And so when the payroll for government is late, they will call Richard Henry. They will call President Tobo. They will call Frank Tobo. They will call their clique. And each of them will donate money. But when the loan comes, they will take that development loan and pay each of them. So by the time we got in the street, they got billions in banks, in the Swiss bank. They didn't care to build a bank here. No, they built their bank abroad. If those billions of dollars were in our banks, it will have some. And when you eat food in your body, you're strong. You're not weak. If you're hungry, you'll be weak man or a weak person. But when you eat this morning and your stomach full, you're strong for that day. So if they had that economic power, money, our money that they took, if they had it here, this country would have been a viable African economic state. Because that money, it would touch somebody, the bankers, their nephews, their sisters, their brothers. The money was going to touch us. But no, they had it way in Swiss banks. And we didn't have anything here. I had 10 shares in the Liberian Bank for investment and development. They got yet to give me loan. But they do give loans who got American Liberian names. And I am one of the visually outgoing, openly known citizens in this place. I can't get loan from LBDI, even though I'm a shareholder. They give loan to other people, talking about the narrowness of the past system, the greed, bordering around wickedness and hatred. We were not responsible for them being sold as slaves. No, I was not here. My father wasn't here. And the slaves, they were not sold only from this coast. They were sold from Nigeria. They were sold from all along the coast of West Africa. Some came from East Africa. Some came from North Africa. So they decided to bring them here. Then why they want to pay their debt on us? I have a problem with that. We were not responsible for the slavery. We suffered it. But now the free men that came, they wanted to pay us back for their slavery. We're not responsible. We were subjected to it. We were exploited. So we were not the wrongdoers. The wrongdoers are your masters beyond the sea that brought you here. So you're supposed to welcome us and make us to accept the new life and be like you. Then you won't have problem. You will not be insecure. But because of the way you live, they wanted to live as Americans, as white people, whereas we were already living as Africans. You live according to your climate and according to your society. Here, we did not endeavor. The Africans naturally live here on this continent. We didn't worry about new things. We did what our foreparents did from time to time. Yeah, you can call it undevelopment. You can call it lack of progress. No, but we Africans perpetuate our long beginning. We don't do new things. That's why we don't have scientists. That's why we don't explore the skies. We don't go beyond the sea. We fish right around here. We don't go beyond our territorial water. We don't even exhaust it because it's 200 miles. We don't go that far. We just fish around here. Because we are Africans. Because you have a different culture than we have, didn't mean we're not the same countrymen. Especially when you set up a government and we were subdued and were willing to work with you, then there was no need for you to. You should welcome us and try to embrace us and make us to be like you, but not to discriminate against us. That when I have to send you to school, then you got to be chastened. You must be chastened before I can help you. They were not right. They were not right. And me, I knew if we're not going to stay like that. When I was a little boy in our home, I was small in size because my mother had problems. She almost lost me during her pregnancy. So I didn't grow up tall. All my brothers are tall, big people. But my grandfather is a tall black man on my mother's side. My grandfather on my father's side, they say he was also a hero. Remember I told you he killed the hero of the Glaro people in our last war. But I'm tiny because my mama had problems when she was having me. So she called me her trouble child, but she loved me the best. Why? Because when mama called and you don't answer, she got problem with that. And mama used to always say, y'all people suffering behind, what y'all will do for me? And for true, by the time I got out of school, mama died. Only my father was able to enjoy. I made him prison warrant. He came to me at Justice Department, and my son, I want to work where I want to be lieutenant. I said, Papa, you can't go in the army and be lieutenant. You first thing is, I said, there's no job here. First, you got to know both Papa before you work in their office. And you wrote me the letter. I told him that I know you be my son, N-O, instead of K-N-O-W. So you can't work in any government office. So I said, okay, I will send you to the prison in Swedru and make you a warner there. That the job I gave my father. He was working there as a warner. Okay. With all this background, my people, we felt out that all the disease in all of this thing was the political system was not good. It was wrong. It was wrong. Y'all have problem with the microphone, eh? Okay. No, it might be closer. What about this one? It's not working? Oh, I'm going to go closer. Okay, y'all got to have microphone that will be more sensitive. I thought that the True Party, as I say, our American Liberian hegemony of the society should have been a little more liberal society. Just how the people in America, the American Colonization Society members, they were liberal. They didn't want the black people to be in their society, so they decided to send them to Africa. So they came as a beacon of hope and progress. But then our brothers and sisters that came, they didn't see it that way. They thought that they have come as masters. And they didn't go, and they tried to let you know every day. And one thing I love about them, if an American Liberian visits the office of another, as soon as he hears say Peter John, oh, the man will come out. He will come outside to meet his friend. Not the thing that you indigenous people do. When I go in there, people will leave me sitting and go have meeting. That's not what they do. They're very receptive. But you have to be one of their members. And if you want to be accepted, you have to be like them. Carry their name. Wear shoes and speak good English. Otherwise, you countrymen. And when you are countrymen, you got no place here. This is not a country people place. This is a Morocco Liberian society. I have problem with that. I think it should have been changed. And it should be changed during my time. So, the march was legal. Citizens have a right to stage a legal process or have a legal dissent with the judgment of government. They do that everywhere. Even in America when I was there, during the Martin Luther King protest days, people march. Yeah, they put them in jail, but they go to court and release them. They are not criminals. They just violate what you call public safety laws. When you violate public safety law, the penalty is not death, being shot by soldiers and wounded by them without medical treatment. Oh, no. I just violated public safety law. My penalty is supposed to be light fine and go by my business and never to do it again. No, the True Party took a peaceful march. I call it a peaceful march. You impose the price of rice. We had renegotiation. We didn't just jump out and go make march. We were responsible people with women and children. I say women, eh? No, I mean, they have women, not me now. Not that I have plenty of women. I mean, I don't know about that, but, you know, I mean, all of us were married people. We're responsible, educated boys, men and women. And we didn't want to go and just violate the law. And they had an experienced lawyer who had already been working in the Justice Department, in the system. One of the lawyers who was able to tell the president, say, you got to pay taxes. That's why your president can pay taxes now. I said, man, pay taxes. The law was there, but they didn't go by it. That who know you system. Because you president, you be and say, oh, I will not collect tax from you. And you get the highest salary. Then you say, you may not pay taxes. That was not cool. That was not constitutional. But the True Party did not do that. They didn't have to shoot the boys for demonstrating. No, let them, get them police protection. Let them march. When they get hungry, they will leave the streets. Just make sure they don't destroy and damage public property and individual and put other individuals at risk. As long as they march through the street peacefully and airing their differences, the government shouldn't have problem. No, they went on a tangent of shooting. And the thing about it in this place is that the few American Liberians will take native men to suppress native men. The police that shot our boys and wounded us and put us in jail, those who kept keys, lock and keys and whipped us, they were native people. They were that American Liberian people. For self-interest, you will go against your own brother. That's what got us here today. Thank you. We could have had a better treatment in prison. Nobody was supposed to be killed. If our native policemen did not take the wrath on us and shoot us, I didn't see any American Liberian man as a police in the street. It was the Vibe boys and the Ketebo boys and the Bassa boys, the Gola boys and the Loman boys. They were the police. They shot their own people. They shot us. Then we blame it on the few just because they were at the top. We should stop that. We should all be committed to act civilly. When you want to do something, think to yourself, is it fair, humanly? We all go to church every Sunday here. Is it religiously correct? Would it be nice in the sight of God before you do it? Don't do it for self-interest. And that's what they did to us. They murdered their fellow citizens. But the problem I have with the system was, when it happened, they should have conducted an investigation in the police force. They should set up a committee to investigate. Who fired the first shot? Because I know William Arotoba did not tell them to come shoot us. I know he didn't do it. I know William Arotoba well. He was caught between the system. He was the most progressive president the country ever had, because I saw him. The man who took my hand and put in Albert White's hand, my superintendent at Grand Jede County, and said, there's some good in the man. Toba knew that there was some good in our movement. And I know he could not have told the police, y'all go and shoot. But our own people, Joe Myers, he was the police director, our own boys. Joe Myers is a man from Zwedru, Grand Jede County. They shot our boys and made and brought the confusion. So it's not just the American Liberians. It is both the American Liberian and the so-called native people. And the native people, I don't know, because they eat plenty pepper, they don't have a sensitive, resolute, rational way of responding to things. Everything that force. You can't advise your children, you must beat them. Once your mom tell you, Papa, that you did so, he ready to beat you. That's how my father used to do. He would not one day advise you and say, well, okay, you don't do that when your mom tell you, you must try to do this. Yeah, don't do it. No, Papa will not do it. Soon mama say, look, that man acted rude today. In fact, he said he insulted our visitor here and he's going around fighting other children. You are ready? He's ready for punishment. And I know all of you know what I'm talking is true. They ain't got mercy. They ain't got reconsideration. They just take action. And when you put them in the police force and in the army, they will just take action because they get the power. That's what brought us here today. I wish the police can come talk here too. And not just leave it with the government and myself. Because they were the one who fired the first shot. Our intention was good. The price is high. You say we may not reduce it, the government cannot reduce it. Then since government cannot reduce it, we'll make our protest public. That's all we did. But they did not take the penalty of death. It didn't worth it. That's what they did. And when they did that, then we became more determined. They want to crush us. And Chea Chapoo, Baka Matthew, Oscar Chea, these are boys that you can't crush. You know these boys came from difficulties. Baka's father did not take care of him, and he's proud of telling us that. Matthew did not take care of Baka's. Baka's grandmother took care of him from small because Matthew said I was not his child. Mr. Matthew. So Baka and Matthew also know the agony of being born in that kind of situation. I wish that this hearing will make Liberian people know that all of us were not wrong. We were just victims of our system. The American Liberians, the country people, the police, those of us who rioted in the street, we just victims of a bad system. And I think the reason I agreed to come here, because even though they misspelled my name 2 times, TRC, that's supposed to write, what you call it, history. Why y'all call that kind of history y'all coming right? Contemporary history. You are contemporary man, contemporary commission. You will spell Chapoo name wrong. Go to any newspaper, they'll tell you my name. Go to any press. Ask anybody in the country. Anybody you see go to Sunday with suit on, ask him to spell Chapoo. My name always in the newspaper. When it is few days, I don't talk. And President Ellie even have problem with that. Say, why you not talking? I say, well, ma, I don't got nothing to talk. And you're doing the thing now. And we got multi-party system. So even though the party went and put all kind of people in the government, all kind of people in the legislature, well, I'm an old man now. This is not time to make youthful protests. I'm supposed to be sober, considerate, and try to study problem and find peaceful solutions. This is what I'm doing. That's why you don't hear me talking. All right. We decided to form a party. Then they went to meeting. After the riot, they killed us. No investigation. They didn't set up a panel of investigation to find the root causes and who shot the first gun, because police were not authorized to shoot peaceful citizens who didn't carry guns but merely marching in our streets. They didn't do that. So we went to, I advised, after that riot, we went to our Central Committee meeting, and I told the Central Committee meeting of PILE that right now we are just a group of renegades. We're not organized. PILE is not a registered organization. PILE will not go anywhere and sue. Because in order for you to sue and be sued, you must be a legal person if you are an organization. So what we need to do is to form a party. Then we will be credible. Then we will be like a true party. Then we will have a member, we will have leadership. And when the government wants something, the government will know who to talk to. But one day they come back, Matthew not here, Oscar Chea here. Oscar Chea not here, then somebody else is here. And we were just there. We were just a secular group, not organized. So I told them, we need to have a party. So they said, all right. But who will form the party? I said, well, you see, I'm a lawyer. And Mafia asked me, who will form the party? I said, but I'm a lawyer. You see, I'm a lawyer for the system. So I will form the party. So we won. We went ahead, drafted. I didn't know how to form party here. All the party where they forming now, the thing what I did, that was the capping. Now just looking at them. There was no law, no system on how to form a party. Because you remember the time they formed the True Will Party, that document is lost. So what I did was, in order to become a legal person in law school, you had to be an incorporated organization. So I decided first the party need to be incorporated. So I wrote a charter of incorporation. The election law required that you have 300 members, registered voters. Then you can go. It didn't tell you must get it from this county, that county. No, because the reason why they didn't specify the county is if you got 1 million people in Monrovia, and the rest of the country only 50,000, and you go and contest, and the 1 million people in Monrovia vote for you, and you win, because they say the majority. So really, I got to have members in San Quile, or in Zwedru, or in what else, that new town called Fishtown. I don't need people there. I just dwell on the center of population. So we went and wrote the charter. We took it to the probate court. I mean, what is the name? Yes, it was the probate court. We registered it, took it to Foreign Affairs, and recorded it. That was the party. Now, the problem we had is going through the probate court to register for the government to allow us to register a party. We had terrible time. We got one yellow American Liberian. He didn't look like African. He white man. He had green eyes. When I went to America, I said, oh, that man that was in Monrovia, I saw the white people, real white people from Sweden and other places. They got tongue and eyes. It looked like, I don't know, cat eye. So that man, he called himself Sawyer. He had cat eyes. He was a white man, straight hair. He went to court to file a petition stopping us not to form a party. And we had terrible time. I know he didn't do it alone. The True Party, contrary to the law then prevailing, to the election laws of Liberia, under which the government at the time was elected, they stopped us from forming a party. And so we had a long, tedious, we had to march on the Supreme Court. We told them they will shoot us when we start marching from our office. So go there one by one. By the time the court is ready to be seated, the judge is ready to mount the podium, the place is packed. The whole of the big office where they got the Supreme Court, it will be, the whole yard will be packed. Our boys will come from New Crew Town. They will come from Carisburg, Kakata, all around here, and they will all be there. Then the judge look at it, we answer the caveat that they filed, telling us that we are useful, irresponsible, we state riots and make march, challenge government, all kind of that one Sawyer putting all his paper. I used to have that paper, but you kind of war, I don't know where I left it. Well, those were not cogent reasons for you not to form a party. Citizens have a right to have peaceful. They didn't take us to court. They should have had an investigation. I told you to turn up a panel to find out what was the cause for this riot, for people to get killed in the street. If the decision of that panel came and said that we were responsible, they can say they are lawless people. The decision of this group say, of this government organization, government finding that they were involved in crime. Look what they did, causing the death of innocent citizens that they ordered to get in the street. They didn't do it, nobody invested. That's what they do in Liberia. When something happened, we just talk our talk, then we just leave it. They're not organized. It's not historical. It's not documented. Nobody know what happened. You pretty soon, when I'm gone, you are gone, it's forgotten. But it will be a system that is embedded in our children, and it will happen again. And that's what occurred here. So they stopped us from organizing. And we didn't think it was correct. So we continue. We won the case. And they later register us. You know why we register? That is same William R. Top. I told you the man progressive. As a lawyer, the judge told me, I'm not calling him, the man, that judge is still at the, now she associate justice there. Instead we're looking for chief justice, I think she will be a good person. Because that other chief justice was there. He want to do the old American thing. And that old American, they play change, you don't know that? All of American Liberian children. We got American Liberian children. And so we are, really, if you want to say what the first class, we're members of the American Liberian Society. We are lawyers, we are trained people. We've been to America too, and not just a settler. So they're gonna come here and, hey, where are you? This and that. That's zero. You don't even know. Now you're not civilized. You're uncouth. You're not supposed to behave like that. Somebody who Chief Justice is supposed to be calm, collected, respectful, law-abiding, not a drunkard. Now, so we're looking for a new Chief Justice. That our lawyer who made us party, who in there that the president might identify, even though it will be a woman president, a woman chief justice, yeah, if that why a call for Liberia to go forward, then so be it. So she went to see President Torba. She confided in me. She wanted us to form the party. She's a vile woman, you know, and she didn't have problem with it, but she was in the system. So she told me, okay, Counselor, what you need to do, y'all go home. I want to talk to the president. Yesterday I went there, I was not able to see the president. But y'all give me 3 days. I will try to see the president. Then when I come back, I will let y'all know. I said, all right. So I went outside. I said, I will cry. Progressive People's Party, PAL, will never forward, backward, never, and all of that. So we told the children to go home. And we all went home. About 3 days thereafter, in fact, in 2 days, she was able to see me. And she told me, yeah, I saw the president. And the president said, well, go ahead and register the party. That he told me, you see that bad man, that's what he did. He was progressive. But the true party hegemony was against him to change. So he agreed for us to start having parties, Torba. Because the judge told me that she had to see the president, and she informed me that she had seen the president, and the president said that she could go ahead and register us as a party. Otherwise, we would never have been registered. So Torba decided, since this is the case, then we'll go ahead and let other people form parties. So they gave us license. But I understand from the grassroots that the True Party decided that after we are organized, then they will persecute, and persecute our leadership. Prosecute means I take you to court and deal with you according to law. Persecute means violently, crush you, step on you, give you no right, bring extinction, eradication, removal, total from against you. You persecute me. That's what they decided to do. So after we organized, then we said, okay, well, as a new organization, we wanted to be heard. You go organize, then okay, because we're agitating, it was an activity for us. When we go, we used to have some girls. I don't know where my PPP girls, the power girls, I don't see them this time. I know they all married and got children. They will cook. And a lot of boys come from home, you don't eat in the morning. You go to PPP office, we will cook. Cook, excuse me to say, cook hell of food. Everybody will eat. So when we go to meeting, they are there. We just finish eating. People pay $1, this and that. We used to sell our revolution paper. They take that money. So sometimes when we don't have, we eat the money, we cook and eat. So time to print the paper, no paper. Then we send one of our mobilizer called Kankala, D. Kankala. D. Kankala, I don't know how he managed, but he's supposed to be some kind of person here in this system. I don't hear him. I saw him yesterday. D. Kankala will go and find the papers. I don't know how. But it's done legally because nobody ever came to us and say, D. Kankala did this, or my paper lost. No, he will get the paper for us. And even though we saw the paper, our newspaper yesterday, and we took the money, we cooked this money. Now we want to print the paper again. We don't have money, so Kankala will bring paper for us. He was our front man. He used to go and get things done. We wanted to exert ourselves now that we are an organized party. And we wanted Liberian people and the government to know that when you have a party, two parties in existence, and the government party then become the party, leading party, but the other party, sponte, as a matter of law, become the opposition party. An opposition party is supposed to be accusative, active, provocative, bring new changes, advocate them, so that tomorrow when you ask for the election, they will say, yeah, those people who are over there who talking, you're calling inside the house. The people will say that because they want the changes. If your changes are correct. So we said that we needed to have a by-election. So what we told President Tobo when he invited our chairman that he wanted to put our people in the government afterwards. We said, no, we don't want, if you go in true party government, then you just member, then you will not do anything. So we don't want to be member. Me, I was against it. Baka said, well, why don't we, we can get in there and work through the system. I said, oh, but then you work, what kind of system? You will not be able to work through that system there. And we decided to form a party. Common protest we want to do in the street that the people kill people. You understand? Then they will be killing us individually. Every time, all of you that are in those systems, they will just kill you. When we go low, we finish. So we're not going to join them. So what we decided after that meeting was we want another election now. Since we got a second party. So we called it for the resignation of the president and to have a by-election. And True Party have problem with that. This was legal for a political party to call for election. When you find out that the sitting government is undemocratic and is not following the law, and therefore you want to curtail the term of office and have election. Tobo had already been in office 12 years. So really he was not a hungry president who wanted to be there forever, and that's why most of the changes he accepted them. The True Party leadership, they were not disposed to that. They were not disposed. They didn't want to give anybody a chance. So they arrested us. And for me, Lieutenant Howard always came to my cell door in the post stack. Your part Chesson said, if anybody got free here, they're not you. And that lieutenant always come to the prison and tell me that. They put I alone in one room. Oscar Kuya was lucky you were in there with all the boys. So when they, solitary confinement, 24 hours, you don't come out. We got caught there. When the place is full, every Saturday you clean your room and empty your cup. From Saturday to Saturday, when you get outside your cell, prison cell, you will see people running from all the doors, going towards the bathroom. And they will call 9 o'clock in the morning and take your food, put it in one flat tin plate, put it before your door, as many people as in the cell. And the flies from the poop, from the toilet, those sitting on any kind of thing, mosquito, they will sit on your rice until 3 o'clock. At a True Party, they say we must form party, we finish form party now, they're dealing with us. They should give us a place. After we form party, we just like them. We become organized body, a political institution. They should have treated us as brothers and welcome us. They would have controlled us better than to brutalize us. They put us in jail there. I put in my paper, you will read it. I almost died from starvation. I stay with people who got money. So I used to eat. We eat breakfast, we eat lunch, we eat dinner. And my bedroom to Chesapeake Place was closer to the kitchen. In the night when I wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, I go in the kitchen and eat cookies and drink milk. So me, I ain't ever hunger. So they told me and put me inside there. No food. eat dry rice from 3 o'clock in the put your dry food, and I was living in hygiene. I went to a boarding school that was taken care of by the government, international community. We were trained to be civilized. And they took me and put me in jail there. I was in my own confinement. Every morning they tell me how I'm going to die. And I was uncivilized. And I didn't take it lightly.
Okay, so folks, listen. I'm gonna put the actual link, the original link under this video. There is nothing that is happening in Liberia right now that has not happened before. And I've said this over and over. This is a long time. What is happening in Liberia is foundational. And as I stated last night, in the governance system, when I hear people say politics naturally means governance, the structure of your nation, how people organize themselves to lead, who make decisions in the society. Okay, what are the policy literally means what are the rules that guide your decision and your actions. Okay, that's that. Okay, so everything that is going on, and I'm like this. I've been on both sides of the aisle, and I know that. Okay, I've listened to this man 3 or 4 times, and I will listen to him again. When Mr. Cummings said yesterday, what UP is doing is like the two-wing party, all right? That the constitution that we have outlived herself, and those who organized that, it was the way America was organized. You know how they say hurting people hurt people, and people only know what they know. And we say Imanu Peba Doi leader. Okay? Anything that you do not know is above you. It becomes your elder. Okay? You hear him talk about Tolbert. He was a good person, but he was confiscated. He was held as hostage by the people that he surrounded himself with. Does that sound like a recurring theme per se? That every decision have to go to the society hall. That way you sit to daddy house. Okay, they must send the temper to be decided upon. All right. I know when he talked about confiscating the land, I know that because my grandpa told me the story where the government declares that all the land in the country, nobody could own land, although they were on that land for hundreds of years before the arrival of the free slaves for that. All right. Again, let me bring this to bear. Whenever, every year, as we start in the fall, a new school year, and I have new students, this is my tune that I said as we do orientation. Okay. Leave me alone, man. All right. I always told my student the essence of learning history is not to make you bitter, but to make you better. If you listen keenly, if you study, and you find that you don't like certain portion or certain things that happened in the past, here's your opportunity to take the lead and change it and leave a better place. Have we done anything differently? No. No. You heard him grabbing people and throwing them in jail. There's no other policy for rehabilitation, for humane treatment. There's none. There's no rule or action to guard our thought or our decision in respect to job creation. We are not thinking. Okay. When he said, we know this, that we collected the money, we borrowed them, and then they divided among themselves, and they took the money to Switzerland. I remember my great aunt Esther Luke Daniels. Yeah, that's my auntie. That when I tell people, I've been on both sides of the aisle. Okay. During the summer, she would go to Las Palmas. That's where I heard that word from. Never heard my bush girl, my mana girl. Ma de den kaho nsi yasini. But you hear that word Las Palmas. The kids, the grandkids are going to the United States for the summer. They will be on Pan Am or British Corridor. Yeah, I remember those. I remember those like yesterday. I have seen 4 generations, I would say, because I'm crossed between 2 generations before the war. We grab people, we throw them in jail, just like we throw Prophet Key in jail. Prophet Key now cost me, cost my mom, cost everything about me and my husband and my whole family. But that's his right, the freedom of speech. I wouldn't use those words because I have enough diction and I have this. I was listening to a philosopher yesterday that says and he said, that person that thought they were disrespecting you, they did not disrespect you. They disrespected themselves. They just show you the kind of character they are, what the value. Okay. But if you listen to this man, he came and he was truthful, upfront. Everything that happened yesterday, when I was telling y'all, these people don't want change. They want their old job back so they can steal more than they did before. And this time they will not be merciful because they don't know what will happen in the end. Some are planning to become millionaires, multi-millionaires. Who's going to pay? Eat all you can eat. The future generation will pay. So I will urge you to go and finish the other part of this video. All right. I will replay that 1.7. This video is 3 hours and 18 minutes. I can't do 3 hours and 18 minutes. I've done 1 hour and 41 minutes. So you literally still have 1 hour and 30 plus 31 minutes. Okay. Go ahead and do it. I've done 1 hour 41.7 minutes. So you can go ahead and watch the rest. I'll put a link under here. But I think this is history, verbal, and the digitalized. All right. Listen to it, record it, because the more people play it, it will fade out. Okay. And I think Chea Chapoo is let me not speak to how you call it. I'm gonna put his name up here and see. He would have been somebody somebody that would have loved to have sat with to have a conversation. All right. I would have loved to. He was a brilliant man. And I think he was an honest man. Yeah. He died in September 16, 2000. He was born 1942. May his soul rest in peace. He was a brilliant man too. I would have loved to sit with him and have a conversation. Yes. Who you need to call? Oh. And Chea Chapoo died in 2020, so I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe his son. Yeah. So I'm going to say good night to you all. I've been here for 1 hour and 41 minutes. Usually it's an hour. It has been good to just, go back in history, take a walk back and, look in the rear end and see what's behind us. Why are we here? There's a reason that we're here. Okay. And I always told the Liberian people, in the country that I know, all right, when I teach Georgia history, when we talk about Reconstruction, I usually say this to the kids. When a nation or when a family suffer, okay, when they experience tragedy, what do? And majority of my kids will say, you rebuild. You try to reconnect. Even with a family, so is with a nation. If a nation experiences tragedy, it does not matter what kind, man-made, natural disaster, the leadership, if it's a family, the head of the house, the mommy, the daddy, have to create security blanket for the children to know everything is going to be okay. Explain to them how it's going to be okay. What increment, what action will be taken? What are we going to do differently? Like when we were in the tornado in 96 and we lost everything. We weren't going to, if we were going to be in a building, it was not going to be an apartment. It was going to be a house. And the house will have a basement in case we have a tornado that we can find exit down into there and security. All right. So like America, after the Civil War, there were 2 reconstruction. All right. But that's something we can talk about later. With Rwanda, the scene. Japan, the scene. China, the scene. South Korea, all of these places went to war. But they got back. Remember what Mr. Cummings said yesterday? In most countries, the head of state is different. The head of government is different. All right. The head of the armed forces is different. The head of the police is different. Most of the time with the police, they're elected. They're close to the people. They're answerable to the people. The head of state normally will be ceremonial, will be the face of the nation. The head of government will be the one who runs the function of the government. But Liberia, all of that is put into one person to decide for the rest of the 5 to 6 million people. And we're still going with the old constitution, the very constitution that we condemn, that we say brought us to war. Because people say, put me there. When you put them there, they get under the umbrella, and now they don't want to leave it. So we say enough in one night. I want to say to you, good night, and thank you for being a part of our Thursday night. Again, this is Yasini Martin Prayer. We're not talking about Liberia in the current sense today, but I wanted to take a walk back into history and listen to this man. The next person I will listen to, maybe I will try to finish this the next time, and then we'll continue the conversation from there. But I'd like to repeat that part where he talked about not paying people. People working, you don't pay them. Government high-paying position are reserved for family and the friends of the president and nepotism per se. But then why do we kill the people though? That's the question I need to be answered. Why do we put on fire and sword? Just to do the very thing that we condemn. Good night, everyone. And this is the part that I get to play. Now I get to play Quincy B. That's the part I get to play Quincy B. That's the part I get to play Quincy B. Give me 1 second, guys. May his soul rest in peace.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Say, I love, it. Day and break, everybody on the hustle. Some people know like peace, they want some trouble. Crime rates on the increase. The government can protect the people. Hold up, no justice for the poor. Yeah, look the way we're living. We're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living. We're treating one another unfair. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. Yeah. We have everything in abundance, but we die and rot and breathe. We pray, asking the Lord for another Moses.
So let me say as this plays, okay? Here it is. This video is from early time. We came and did the scene. The music is still the same. The cries is still the same. Nothing has really changed. What a shame. What a shame.
We're pushing into baggy. Love the way we're living. We're treating one another unfair. Our children, we're pushing into baggy. Love the education. Our lands are fertile, no food on the land. Our children, we're pushing into baggy. Love the way we're living. We're treating one another unfair. Love the way we're living. We're treating one another unfair. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. Our forefathers were taken into slavery, but in a modern time like this, we're children and slaves. We're fighting the war not with guns and bullets. The enemies I see are my brothers and my sisters. We're diggers of graves while we're still living. Don't judge a book by its covers. Looks can be deceiving. Whenever the sun shines, must come a rain. Who will come and take away the pain? I love the way we're living. We treat